Well, the WNS podcast said it best. It's like they really want us to hate the product right now. A very confused Sir Owen Disney coming at you live here talking about last night's edition of Monday Night Raw. And oh boy, we got a lot to talk about. Oh, but first, before I get started, 8 days. Now, let's talk about Raw, shall we? I've got me a beverage so we can start this. The night after the Authority finally lose power, the show starts with Triple H and Stephanie. Okay, no issues. Triple H basically is the one who delivers the promo, and Stephanie is the one who pretty much cries in the background. None of you guys get it. Because of Sting, now we're out of power. Because of Vince McMahon, John Cena is the only one that can reinstate the Authority. You love this, because you're bullies. Pot kettle. I'll say that a lot in this video, I have a feeling. But be careful what you wish for, because no one here can handle that power. Triple H doesn't know why Sting is here, maybe to stand in the ring with him for 30 seconds, to make himself relevant again. You ensured the demise of the WWE with John Cena's team winning a Survivor Series. I give it 2 or 3 weeks at best. Without the Authority, there is no you. I guess no universe, sure. We're going to leave now, but you'll beg for us to come back. Here comes Daniel Bryan. Bryan comes out, starts yesing in their faces, to both Hunter and Stephanie, all the way up the ramp. We come back from commercial break, and we find out that at least for one night, Daniel Bryan is now in charge of Raw. I don't have an issue with this. Right away, I know. But this segment went way too long. He calls out the Authority team from Survivor Series. And one by one, he singles each one of them out. So they all come out, and of course, you have Mercury, Noble, and Lana all come out with them as well. Bryan says I'm not a spiteful man. But I'll be fair here. Seth Rollins, you will team with 2 other superstars that will be selected by the WWE Universe in a vote on the WWE app. Since obviously you're used to handicap matches, so why not this be any different? So, later on we'll find out who's going to be teaming up with him, officially, but, and it's funny because they're facing off against John Cena and Dolph Ziggler, and that's going to be the main tonight. So, Rollins is having a mic issue, and Rollins plays perfect improv with basically saying, so, you control the mics too? And Bryan's like, yes. So, he basically said numerous times that saying yes is what he does. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So, Rollins says, you know what? I'm still the future of the company, and holds up the Money in the Bank briefcase. So not going after the Money in the Bank briefcase because Bryan's not a spiteful person. He's going to, I don't know, Rollins says, how about you team with Hornswoggle or El Torito or maybe JBL and Cole? So that's when it is announced the Universe get to choose who will team with Seth Rollins in the main event. So Bryan says he's fair, so he's going to give an option. 3 teams. Number 1 being the team of Mark Henry and Luke Harper, a very formidable team. Number 2 being the team of Mark Henry and Kane. Number 3 being the team of Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury. And Rollins is complaining. Bryan says, you know what, life's not fair and the show must go on. So step aside, Seth, and he bombs out with Noble and Mercury. Kane, I'm in charge, but I'll be fair. He asked the fans if Kane should remain the director of operations. Fans are like, yeah, no, that doesn't work for me either. I'm pretty sure I knew what you were going to say, and you went exactly the direction I thought you would, and I think I have another idea in mind. How about we call you the director of food and beverage? You are now not corporate Kane, you are concessions Kane. I laughed, I'm not gonna lie. Bring him a tray and a hairnet. So they bring him out this tray of hot dogs and popcorn, which is funny. And Kane kind of just looks over him like, you punk. And then he says, you know what, you got a job to do, so you need to go away. Now for the United States Champion, Rusev and Lana are standing there at attention at this point. You know, I think a United States Champion should be a tad bit more patriotic. You can be patriotic and not be from the United States. Yeah, I think it's in the dictionary. You can compete in a battle royal with the entire company, with the championship on the line, or you can recite the Pledge of Allegiance with the American flag as your backdrop. Your choice. So Rusev and Lana leave, knowing their punishment. Now to Luke Harper. You will be defending the Intercontinental Championship tonight against Dean Ambrose. No issues with that. Harper bombs out. He calls out to Mark Henry and saves him for last. He says, somebody wants to right a wrong from 2 years ago, and he wants revenge tonight. So he's going to be getting a match against you. And that man is not Ryback, but the Ryback. And the Ryback is going to be facing off against Mark Henry, and that match is now. And it's funny because Brian goes, when I was asked about this match, I told him, yes, that's kind of what I do. And then he says, I'm running Raw tonight. It's what I do. He said, that's what I do. So, Mark making fun of Mark Henry. And by the way, that match is now. So Ryback faces off against Mark Henry. Ryback beats Mark Henry's ass straight up. I mean, there's no way around it. He just whips him like crazy. Left and right, he whips him into the barricade, the bell rings, and Mark Henry's kind of discombobulated, and he pretty much just eats the spine buster. Ryback yells, it's feeding time, it's the meat hook, 1, 2, 3, Mark Henry is decimated. So Triple H and Stephanie run into Vince, and Vince is just like a normal parent. He says he's not angry, he's just simply disappointed. You failed me. You had insurmountable odds, and that's how you learn to overcome something like that, and that's what makes you better. That's what makes you a better corporate employee. But somehow, some way, you're going to fix this. And Stephanie's like, I'm sorry. And Vince gets one of the lines, and sorry, the hell you say. I've never been sorry in my life, except for that time that he said it to CM Punk, but we're going to forget that, right, Vince? They all skid in a limo, and it bombs out. So we get our first match of the evening, a real match of the evening, Intercontinental title on the line, Luke Harper defending against Dean Ambrose. This match was good for what it was and had a bad finish. I'll say that right now, honestly. So, we pick it up midway through the match, and Ambrose sets up for the Dirty Deeds version 2 on the chair to Harper. And that is after Ambrose gets a table, and then he decides he stops, and he gets a ladder. He tosses it in, tosses the table in, he puts on the brakes, and Bray nails him from behind. Sister Abigail on the floor, tosses him over the announce table, and he piles office chairs and regular chairs onto Ambrose in a pile, steps on the table, and drops the last chair onto Ambrose's body, which is now buried under chairs. And do the same thing what happened to Bray at the pay-per-view last night. And this ends with Bray throwing his arms out in the crucifix pose, and that's the end of that. So, real quick, the match pretty much it got thrown out somewhat. Harper actually loses, I believe, via DQ. So, this match is over. Harper purposely shoved Ambrose into the ref, so the ref called for the bell. Well, that's what happened after it was over, obviously building towards another altercation between Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose at TLC, in an actual TLC match, which should be quite fun. We get a promo for the New Day, one being Big E, and one finally being the connection of Xavier Woods, Big E, and, of course, Kofi Kingston. Big E is able to fly, and obviously Woods has the intelligence, and Big E is the strong one, and they all will be the key to victory, basically. A new day is coming, and it is actually dawning next Monday night on Raw, so I'm going to get that right before. So, I want to talk about Santino returning, which is kind of cool, even though he was there to promote a straight-to-DVD horrible sequel to Jingle All the Way, which has absolutely nothing to do with the first movie. And he comes out with, and I'll quote from my notes here, a jackass wearing a Ray Jr. mask and camo shorts. Yes, it is Dan Whitney himself, Larry the Overrated Guy. And, of course, he's being rightfully booed by the very intelligent fans in Indianapolis. He drops a couple references to try to appease the core crowd. He talks about Uncle Elmer, and then he brings up King Kong Bundy, and he says he's here to wrestle, and Stardust and Goldust interrupt, and that's the end of that. So, yeah, hopefully Dan Whitney won't return, but unfortunately he does. Tag Team action, WWE Tag Team Championships on the line. The newly crowned WWE Tag Team Champions Damien Mizdow and The Miz defending against the former champions Goldust and Stardust. Miz coming out with both actual championships, Mizdow coming out with replica toy belts. So yeah, that was entertaining. There's a collision in the match, and Miz is basically on the floor during the entire duration, being checked over by the doctor, making sure that he's not concussed. This is allowing Mizdow to basically work the entire match handicap style against the former champions. This match actually was pretty decent for what it was. Miz ends up tagging himself in after Stardust hits the Beautiful Disaster on Mizdow. Miz steals the win, hits the skull-crushing finale, and gets the pinfall. So, great, nice cowardly move from The Miz, stealing the victory at the very end when everyone thought that he was hurt. So yeah, I actually like this a lot. I like the team of The Miz and Mizdow, and who knows, maybe eventually this may turn The Miz babyface, and they're going to run as a face team, but I don't think they'll go that direction, because I think they could go that way, but I don't think they will. I think it'll obviously lead to a split with Sandow being the babyface down the line. We get Kane in stripes, he's serving concessions. And his boss, Crazy Mary Dobson. How awesome. And basically, you kept away from the deep fryer, and it's like, you need to pay attention to the chips, and you're in charge of the chips, and basically gives him an apron. Here comes Rusev and Lana. Lana gets on the mic and says, this is not fair. America is not fair. I'm not going to be brainwashed by you dumb Americans, says Rusev, which made me laugh. Lana, we go. So Brian's on the Tron and is like, you know what? I kind of figured you'd do something like that, so I have another option for you. How about we can always do the Battle Royal? And Rusev's like, no, I ain't going to do that. He's like, you know what? Fine. How about I get a supervisor to come out and proceed over you doing the Pledge of Allegiance? Here comes Sergeant Slaughter, of course. The U.S. flag comes down, and Slaughter says, repeat after me. That is an order, of course. Lana says the pledge very softly. A little bit of her real accent, her real voice actually coming out there, not an accent. But obviously it got turned around really quickly. She goes right back into the Russian like clockwork. Rusev stops Lana and backs Slaughter in the corner, and here comes Jack Swagger. He runs down, he brawls with Rusev, hits the takedown, the Patriot Lock, Rusev powders, and they all do the We the People. So we're getting a return to the Swagger-Rusev feud? Or maybe this is a one-night thing, who knows at this point. Kane ends up serving hot dogs to Santino and Dan Whitney, the overrated guy, and of course, this ends up turning into just Kane spraying mustard on Santino, and he looks at Dan and basically says, you know what, how about, you think something's going to happen, you hope it will, but no. He just says, well, I'm a big fan, and gives him a hot dog and he bombs out, so yeah, hopefully the end of that. Rematch from the kickoff of Survivor Series Sunday night. It is the new and improved Fandango, still badly looking like Enrique Iglesias here, and kudos to whoever called that on Twitter as well, because I must have saw my video. Facing off against Justin Gabriel, so this match was short. A big clothesline, spun Gabriel like a top, Orange Crush, perfect 10, and that's the end of that. So the dancing with Rosa Mendez, more seductive, more provocative. I think it works pretty well. Fandango wearing white, and now he's wearing a black silk shirt that's got the V-neck on it. So yeah, looks really smarmy. I hope this actually leads to a renewed push for Fandango, and I really think it should. So the Big Show comes out smiling, but he says, you know what, we're cool, right? It's like, we all make mistakes, and everyone makes mistakes. And he says, the Authority forced my hand, and it got me to do some terrible things, and you'd do that too if your family wasn't being provided for. And he says he's a good person, but he turns around and says that the fans owe him for everything, that he's put his body on the line for 20 years. And he says, if the cowards in the back here have anything to say about it, why don't you say it to my face and don't whisper about it behind my back. Here comes Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan, of all people, comes out to brand new music, which got like a xylophone tinge to it. I thought that was kind of cool. So Show mocks Rowan and says, basically, you're not one of the big boys, you need to stay out of this. And he says, this ring is for men. So you go back up the ramp before you get yourself hurt. Or height, in this case. What is height? Great movie ride reference if you know what I'm talking about here. And Rowan just takes off the mask and says, I don't like bullies, nails the Big Show, and knocks him on his back with a spinning heel kick. And we got a program between Eric Rowan and the Big Show. That's interesting. Big Show walks away saying, Rowan, you just sealed your fate. So, Eric Rowan, the one who was the silent one, who got the Silent Bob role in the Wyatt family, now is over, at least with the crowds the last 2 evenings. I think they're actually going to push Eric Rowan, and I think that's actually the right direction to go. Have him feud with Big Show. I don't have a problem with this. Rollins doesn't want Mercury and Noble as his partners. He thinks they don't have what it takes anymore. Dolph arrives. He says, you know what? I got all my Twitter followers to vote for you guys. J&J Security. So, of course, Mercury and Noble are trying to make them the Shield version 2.0. And, yeah, it's funny stuff. So, Brie's in action against AJ. And Brie and Nikki are now a solidified twin front now. Because, obviously, everything that they were going to do with that turn, yeah, it's out the window. So AJ gets on the mic and says congrats to Nikki and tells Brie, let's be honest, you are a bigger skank than your sister ever was. So this match is short, and AJ hits the Shining Wizard. Brie actually kicks out of it. And this leads to them working the arm, actually. AJ's arm got worked on the entire match, and Brie ends up distracting the ref. Nikki yanks the arm across the top rope, leading to a Lamahi straw cradle, which is odd of all with things, because they were working the arm, she's working the arm, she's working the arm, and you think it would be something with the arm. No, it just ties the arm up. So, I mean, I guess it just put more pressure on it so she couldn't kick out. I guess that made sense. And the Bellas celebrate. AJ grabs the mic and says, it takes 2 Bellas to be champion. Let me get it straight, you're not half the woman that I am, and says the line that pretty much puts her own self on blast. Talent is not sexually transmitted. Yeah. Shoot. I know, but still, it's a brutal line to come out with, honestly. Obviously alluding to the fact of the Bella twins' current beaux, one being the husband of Daniel Bryan, the other being the girlfriend, I guess, of John Cena. AJ, unfortunately, should not throw stones in glass houses because, obviously, she can't really say anything here because of her marriage to CM Punk. But then again, that's another story altogether. I actually liked it for what it was, and if this is the AJ farewell tour, we're going to get some pipe bombs down the line. I have a feeling we probably will. I don't know what we're going to do with this. I hope that AJ's not leaving the company, but if she does, then she does. I mean, there's nothing I really can say about it. They're going to build the Divas division around Total Divas anyway, so why not just let it go that way? Tag action rematch from main event that, of course, I didn't get to call. It's Adam Rose and the Bunny against Tyson Kidd and Natalya. Tyson Kidd is everywhere. The Kid Kick Pads return. Shout out to Noel Foley. So, Bunny hits the missile drop kick on Tyson off the middle rope. Humps at Natalya, and Tyson just decapitates him with a spinning heel kick. He just drops the Bunny like a bad habit. Adam Rose ends up getting tagged in after the flapjack. Forearm clothesline, ducks the clothesline on Tyson Kidd, catches him with this nice Anderson spinebuster 1-2 and a kick out. European uppercut, whip in reverse, and the Bunny goes to trip, and he ends up tripping Adam Rose instead. I've done this before, actually. It's a really proven manager spot. So the accidental trip allows Tyson Kidd to roll up Adam Rose and gets the 3 count. So, of course, we have more dissension in the ranks between Adam Rose and Tyson Kidd. Adam Rose and the Bunny, and I'm sure we're going to get some sort of a match between the two somewhere down the line. Renee's with Ryback. Congratulates him on beating Mark Henry finally, and he's like, you know what? That's fine. It's all water under the bridge. The big guy's hungry. I'm looking for a great concession stand. And then he laughs himself. We get a promo for the New Day, and like I said, they're debuting this Monday night on Raw. Should be fun. Ryback shows up to Kane's new job and says the big guy is hungry, and he says he wants tuna fish, and he wants protein, and of course, you don't have this at a concession stand at an arena, so obviously Kane offers a hot dog, and the big guy just rams the table into Kane, basically like sandwiching him between it, pun not intended. And then he grabs a handful of peanuts and he tosses the McCain off camera and says, "You forgot your nuts, stupid." Yay, WWE humor. John Cena and Dolph Ziggler with Renee Young, and a miracle was needed last night, and that miracle was Sting. And thanks to Dolph Ziggler and Sting, the Authority is now history. The show is about to be stolen. Great line from Cena there. So, of course, everyone realized what was going to happen here. John Cena and Dolph Ziggler come out. Daniel Bryan comes out, and since he's the authority figure tonight on Raw, he basically brings out Seth Rollins. He comes out, and then he announces that unanimously, with 93, I believe, percent of the vote, that Joey, Mercury, and Jamie Noble, former WWE Tag Team Champions and also former Ring of Honor Champion, will be teaming up with Seth Rollins. A match they've been doing on house shows a lot lately. So, yeah, they're doing this match. This match was short, straight and to the point. Okay main event for what it was. I really like seeing the fact that in 2014, Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury main evented Raw. That's cool to me. So, this match ends real quick. Noble and Mercury end up going for the double whip. Dolph and Cena reverse. Noble and Mercury crash into each other. Super kick and zigzag on Noble. AA to Mercury. Double pin. 1, 2, 3. Match over. Rollins goes to powder. Daniel Bryan tosses Rollins in the ring. He eats the super kick from Dolph, the AA from Cena, and Bryan celebrates with Dolph and Cena. We hear the alert. Could it be? The anonymous Raw General Manager has returned? And sure enough, when the camera comes back on the announce table, Michael Cole is looking all giddy because the Raw General Manager podium has appeared. Podium. I know this is a gimmick from before. I know this was Hornswoggle revealed in the past. I know that Chris Jericho broke the laptop, and that actually makes sense now. But someone that wants to reinstate order and discipline. Could it be someone that wants some decorum? Wade Barrett taking over as GM of Raw. I don't have an issue with this. I really hope that does happen, but I don't know if they'll go that direction or not. Yes, the anonymous Raw General Manager has returned. Cole says, "I received an email." I got Wrestling News Live flashbacks. He says, and I quote, "Forgive me for interrupting. This Monday, order and discipline will return to Raw. This Monday is also going to be Cyber Monday." And then we get alerts and the flashing lights, and that's the end of the show. Okay. Wow, WWE, way to screw up a great thing. So, let's see. Tune in to Survivor Series last night. We got Roman Reigns via satellite. And we got Sting finally debuting on WWE programming. Not on a documentary, or not on an interview, or not in a old Nitro from 1995. No. He's actually on the program, and he actually hit Triple H and laid him out with a Scorpion Death Drop. No Randy Orton in his hometown, but yeah, the Sting return was worth it. How are we going to follow this up on Raw? Michael, purely racist Hayes, decides he wants to come out and say, you know what, there's going to be surprises on Raw. Daniel Bryan returning. That was awesome. And Sergeant Slaughter came in. Okay, but there's no Randy Orton on Raw. There is no Chris Jericho on Raw, which I didn't believe there was going to be anyway. I don't think we'll see Jericho till January, unless he shows up at the end of December to set up his return to the Rumble. No Roman Reigns on Raw. No. We get this extremely substandard edition of Raw. I like the opening segment, but it was too freaking long. It was a 30-minute talking segment. I love TNA, but I felt like I was watching Impact back in the day. The Hogan and Bischoff regime. But yeah, it's just, 30-minute talking time. This isn't SmackDown, so yeah, we don't need this. SmackDown usually brings more matches. And obviously, promos are a pain because I have to write down every word. I'm starting to learn. That's the reason why this video is almost 30 minutes now and not almost 50 minutes now. I may actually get this thing done before midnight at this rate. Who knows? So yeah. Daniel Bryan comes out as the authority for one night. Makes everyone pay. Except the Big Show, and the only person that made the Big Show pay was Eric Rowan, of all people. So we're going to get Big Show and Rowan feuding. I have no issues with that. Ryback killed Mark Henry dead, and basically I mean, bad choice of words, I'm sure. But, I mean, Mark Henry got taken out by Ryback. Ambrose and Harper had a great match, but the finish sucked. I really wish they could have done more with it. I understand you had to keep both. You had to keep both hot. You had to keep both, like, there. But it's just, there had to be a winner there. And it's just like you had a non-finisher at the pay-per-view, and now you have a cheap DQ finish. So, I mean, they could have had, if you're not going to do the match right, then don't have it at all. This could have went to a pinfall, and there's no reason why it didn't. I mean, you could have done a non-title match, put Ambrose over, but you didn't do it that way either. I like the New Day. I think it's going to be a fun gimmick if they go right with it. The new Fandango, I like this a lot. I think it works pretty well. I think we're getting a rehash of Rusev and Swagger. Maybe this time we'll have another one, which doesn't really make sense because Rusev already obliterated Swagger, so why are you doing this again? Maybe it's not a program. Maybe it's just done for the night. AJ with the pipe bomb against the Bellas, I thought that was really funny, but I mean, hopefully something will come out of it and not just the AJ Lee farewell tour of 2014. I like Mercury and Noble actually in the ring. I always have, but I mean, not many people know of that. Like, new WWE fans probably don't know about Jamie Noble being light heavyweight champion or Joey Mercury being part of three-time WWE Tag Team Champions M&M with Johnny Nitro. Obviously, you know him as John Hennigan or John Morrison. Or Johnny Mundo if you're watching Lucha Underground. Which I need to start watching yesterday, and I haven't yet. Goldust and Stardust against Mizdow, and The Miz worked pretty well. Worked as a handicap match for a bit, and Miz came in and stole the win at the end. Didn't have a problem with that. Main event was okay for what it was. Adam Rose and the Bunny, more collusion between the two. Tyson Kidd gets another win on television. He's on television a lot lately. And just the stuff with Kane as a concession guy was funny, but yeah, it got played out rather quickly. Santino returning was awesome. He had to bring that goof with him, which I hated very much, and they used Dan Whitney way too much tonight. If you're a fan of him, that's fine, but I'm totally not. So yeah, that did not appeal to this demographic. I don't know what's going to happen on Raw. You know, it's like, it's one step forward and like 15 steps back. I mean, Raw tonight was just kind of all over the place. Things I liked, things I didn't like. I think that the match between Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper was actually good. I didn't like the finish at all, but I think it keeps them both strong, so I guess I understand why they did what they did. And you obviously had to have the Bray interference at the end and do the same thing that Ambrose did to him, but in a very smaller manner, because obviously Bray did not get enough on Ambrose chair-wise as Ambrose did to him. There's a billion chairs, they're all steel chairs. Now, granted, a chair like this that I'm sitting in, an office chair, I'm sure hurts too, so, but it's padded. A steel chair obviously is not padded, so yeah, I mean, some of them can be, I guess, but there's always that. So, a lot of new questions as the anonymous Raw General Manager returns. I'm not sure what I think about this. It depends on what we've got. I think we had a quote-unquote fun edition of Raw tonight, which basically giving Daniel Bryan a way to run the program. My God, please get better and come back as soon as possible. You worry about someone's health, but, you know, at this point, I want Daniel Bryan to be healthy. But if there is a way at all for him to be able to come back, I would totally like it right now. I understand there may not be, and that's a really big shame, but hopefully there is, and they do something with that, and Daniel Bryan returns in-ring competition soon. If they want to make him an authority figure in the meantime, that's fine, but it doesn't look like that's direction, because that direction ends up sailing at the end of the show when they bring back the Raw General Manager, which really got over the first time. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure why they did that. If it leads to Wade Barrett running Raw, I got zero issues with that, so... But then again, Wade Barrett not wrestling is a problem for me. So, like I said, when I heard about discipline and order, the only thing that comes to mind is decorum, and decorum equals Bad News Barrett running Raw, which I think would be awesome and really entertaining. I don't know, is this going to lead to Vince returning as more on-air talent? I don't know, is this Raw General Manager connected to Triple H? I mean, there's a lot of questions. I didn't like this Raw, really, for the most part. It's definitely a step backwards from a really good Survivor Series. So, if the next week's Raw, is Cyber Monday, if you will, is like this, I'm not going to care about missing a week while I'm in Orlando. So there's always that. I do have NXT R Evolution coming up on December 11th, which I'm extremely excited for. So yeah, Cyber Monday, we'll get more information on this. It seems like it's going to be a fans pick the stipulations, they pick the superstars, they pick everything. So that's what it's built up to being. So hopefully it'll be like that and we'll have some fun. They can utilize the WWE app, which Daniel Bryan, being a very good company guy tonight, actually talking about the app time and time again to get that over. Don't hear the $9.99 anymore. I wonder why. So, yeah, that was Raw. It was all over the place. If you missed this Raw, you really didn't miss much. If you're a Daniel Bryan fan, you missed this Raw, then I can see why you'd be upset. If you can find Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose, even though the finish sucked, if you could find Harper and Ambrose, I would check that match out. It was really entertaining. If you want to see Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury in the main event of Raw, check out the handicap main event. Other than that, everything else is pretty much skippable. Oh yeah, Goldust and Stardust against Damien Mizdow and The Miz was entertaining. I enjoyed that. Opening promo was fun, even though it was 30 minutes long. But yeah, most of that stuff. If you're an AJ fan, definitely catch the promo after the Brie Bella match. So yeah, there's always that. WWE, I don't get you sometimes. I really don't. That's the reason why I'm a recapper, because I just don't get you. I guess that's how it works. So, fans, in the meantime, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, help spread the word about Pop. If you haven't yet, go to Facebook, click like on our Facebook fan page, it's Sir Owen Disney Pop on Facebook. Send me a friend request on Facebook via Owen Disney. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at Sir Owen Disney. If you want to talk WWE, you want to talk TNA, you want to talk wrestling in general, you want to talk about NXT, you want to talk about Halloween Horror Nights, or Universal, or Disney, or if you have travel questions for me, I can answer those. You have actual questions for me, I can answer those. You have ideas for the vlog of randomness. You have subjects to go into Sip and Snack, or if you have versus suggestions, or you want to become a popcast yourself, send your own content to us. It is SirOwenDisney@gmail.com. So tomorrow, Vlog of Randomness is going to talk all about Reunion 2014 in a Vlog of Randomness that is so random it will appeal to not very many, but hopefully you'll still watch, you'll still enjoy. Sip and Snack coming up, special for Thanksgiving. We're going to go into El Gratin potatoes as well as Capri Sun and Mountain Dew Game Fuel, the citrus cherry. And of course, Friday will take us back into AJ's movie reviews. 2 special AJ movie reviews for Black Friday. It's a twofer for Black Friday. You've got the movies that are coming out this weekend, which are Horrible Bosses 2 and The Penguins of Madagascar. That's for the general public. And to appeal to our very vast Oscar fan base and our award show fan base, we've got a triple threat of awards movies in The Theory of Everything, Birdman, and Whiplash that's coming at you on Friday. Saturday will be AJ and mine's awards video, which we're going to talk about the Big 8 and do our predictions. That's going to be coming at you on Saturday. Gaming with Ash probably returning on Saturday as well. This coming Sunday will also be Versus. Monday will be a brand new NXT and SmackDown recap. Tuesday, Raw one more time. And Wednesday, I'm going to Orlando, and we're going to have some fun. So thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.